Namaste. Uh,
Today's event, some people have been asking me, so I thought we'll share a few thoughts on that and then merge into the canto. First of all, it's an interesting date 9/11/19. Very interesting date. And this date has a number of events. Today itself, two events, and there is another event associated with this date, and another one very close to this date. So the first event that was comes closest to this date was 11/11/1919, the day when officially the World War One ended. That's one. Okay. Then the second event was on 9/11, falling of the Berlin Wall. People, two sides coming united. Then today the two events, and it's very strange because it's not only today. I've been seeing this and several times in the class I've spoken about it. Suddenly there is a harmony of dates coming together, events coming together. I think number of times I've spoken about it on a particular date. So today also we see these two very interesting events in the Indian context, but I think they have far-reaching repercussions. One is that there is a not a breaking of the wall, but Sikhs have their shrine of Nanak's birth, their founder, Guru Nanak. His actual birthplace is on the other side of the border in Pakistan. It's about 4 kilometers from the Indian border. And today, officially, since independence, the effort was being made to open a corridor so that people from this side can visit there easily. It can be facilitated. So today, officially, after almost 70 years of trying it out, suddenly last 2 years, this proposal was accepted from the other side of the border, and today the first batch of pilgrims went. Now, this is interesting because Guru Nanak, if you really go into the past, it's 550 years since his birth. He was, if I'm not mistaken, the first mystic who actually spoke about bringing together Hindu and Muslims, but not by simply either appeasement or, you are good, I am good, but by taking them to the next level, the spiritual level. So when he was asked by his disciple, one of the first disciples, who are you? Are you a Hindu? He said no. Are you a Muslim? He said no. So who are you? I am a man of God. So it was a very beautiful spiritual level where your all other identities, your religious, social, your national. That time there was no national identity as such, but your other identity based on language, customs are uplifted and changed into one true identity that you are a child of the divine or man of God. There are different ways of expressing it. Very few people know that Guru Nanak started what is now today as the Sikh religion, but actually, what you today associate with the Sikh religion, that is the 5 Ks. K means K in English, not the K word in Kashmir. So the 5 Ks, which is Kripan, which they carry, the sword, the pagdi, turban, Kesh, which they keep open, Kanghi, Kada. So these were not during Guru Nanak time. This was because following Guru Nanak, and it's very interesting if you look at the times of Guru Nanak and subsequently, that was a time from Guru Nanak to the last Sikh Guru, 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh, that India was faced by a maximum of Islamic onslaught. We may use the word Mughal onslaught, to be politically more correct. But it was as if people arisen from the very bowels of the earth were rushing savagely, that was a display. But on the one side, this was happening and, heroes were fighting it out and there were stories of betrayal, stories of heroism. But Guru Nanak at that point of time and Kabir around that time, mystics were upholding and preserving the flame of Sanatan Dharma. Yes. So it was very interesting, that it was necessary as a backdrop.
Yes.
So they were constantly showing the way, that there is a higher way, a better way, a better way. And in the process, many of the Sikh gurus had to give tremendous sacrifice. And one of them had to sit on a hot plate for hours, because he was told by the Mughal ruler that either you convert to Islam or you have to go through all the tortures, and he didn't agree. And so he had to go through the tortures. Another Sikh guru, his two sons were buried, alive. Again, he didn't accept. Then the ninth Sikh guru, when he was asked by people that, it's so, because, it connects with the story very interestingly. He was asked by the people that, when will the Mughal rule end? He said, when a genuine man, truly a man of God, noble, he sacrifices himself, then the rule will end. So his son, 9-year-old Guru Gobind Singh, he says, but father, who can be more noble and more of a man of God than you? So he inspired his father for the great sacrifice. So he threw a challenge at Aurangzeb that, look, if I convert to Islam, all my Hindu brothers, they will accept it. So, he presented himself, and Aurangzeb tried various means. Ultimately, he beheaded him publicly. He is one of those genuine great masters who was beheaded. And that time, there is a whole story about how his head was carried by Guru Gobind Singh and his disciples. And that's why in Delhi you have a Gurudwara named after the head, Gurudwara Shishganj, where his head was, kept. And then Guru Gobind Singh, who must have seen all this, and he knew now that the reign must end, he is the one who made the Sikh religion become a martial race. Already this was a very virile Kshatriya kind of warriors who had chosen the spiritual path. The Shatra Tej was there and Brahma Tej had joined with it. If you read Sikhism, it's all Vedanta. Even some of the terms are like that. Ekoham, there is one without a second. Onkar, Sat, Sri, Akal, all completely Sanskrit words. Vaheguru, all these are terms which are straight from Sanskrit, and you can very well understand. And he speaks about, incidentally, in Gurbani, which is a collection of all the great masters, their hymns are there. Like the Vedas, it's very much like that. So all the great masters of those times, those hymns are there. Some of them are dedicated to Kali, some to Krishna. Sri Ram's name, where we are coming to, is also mentioned 55 times in Gurbani. So it was a collection, very Catholic kind of religion. So Guru Gobind Singh, just to identify and separate it, he said the purpose of the Khalsa, the militant religion is a wrong word, but the warrior religion, he said their task is to protect the Hindus. That's how it came into being. And there were 5 persons who came from different sides of India. That's how the whole religion had come into existence. So, and it is true that Guru Gobind Singh and Shivaji on the Maratha side together, they overthrew the entire empire. It's amazing. Actually, the Aurangzeb, it was, and Guru Gobind Singh was never defeated. Shivaji remained invincible right up to the end. Yes. So it's an amazing story of, it's good to go back sometimes to those roots and reconnect with the kind of blood and consciousness that has flown into the veins of the ancient Aryavart. So once again we see Guru Nanak, who initially started the movement of union of the two different kinds of, seemingly different, by a new spiritual uplifting. We see that 550 years down the line, another movement starts symbolically. And though people are suspicious, and suspicions have their own validity, and it's not that, but overall, I feel it's a very positive event. I feel that this kind of going back and forth is also a going back and forth in consciousness. And who knows, this may be starting point of something much, much beautiful down the line.
You have one more point to cover?
Yeah. So I'll now come to the second one.
Yes.
So the second one is about today's decision. Now, this case, many people don't know about the Ramjanambhoomi. This has been going on since 1800 something. Okay, it's not a new case. And to cut a long story short, it has gone through many ups and downs. Do you know who was pleading in this case on the side of the Hindus? It was Baby Ram. Actually, he is one of the plaintiffs. He's called Ram Lala. So he is one of the on one side, and but he's a baby. It's the birthplace. So he can't fight the case. So on behalf of him, one of the retired judges became one of the, that he will file a case on behalf of Ram Lala. And guess what his name is? Devaki Nandan, which actually means Krishna. So he has claimed that I am his brother. As his brother, he has filed a case. So, I love the name Devaki Nandan fighting on behalf of Ram Lala. And the case went through many upheavals, ups and downs, and demolition, and incidentally an event about the demolition. See, there are many ways of looking at it. Event, there is a social way, there is an activism and all that. They all have their own place. I'm not saying this is right or that is wrong. But one thing, some certain things work in a very occult way which we don't understand, because the divine does not work according to human right and wrong. Mahabharata humanly is wrong, but spiritually it is right. When someone asked Sri Aurobindo, there is an aphorism. Who would say whether Rama's killing of Vali from behind the scenes is right or wrong? And then he says, but this we know intuitively that they acted divinely. It's Rama and one more, I think, about Krishna. Who would say it's right or wrong? But this we know. Who knows in the heart deep inside that they acted divinely? With a little bit of awakening of this, you feel that there is something divine about it. So similarly, just before the demolition of the Babri Masjid, I'm not going into semantics and Babar and Masjid, and that's a waste of time. But very few people know that 15 days before or couple of months before, in that area, in Ayodhya, Sri Aurobindo's relics had gone. And do you know where the relics are enshrined? The one side of the wall of the compound is same as the wall compound of the what now is become Ram Janambhoomi. One side of the compound. Actually, I've been to the place, you can stand and actually see. You can jump across the wall and you'll be inside. It's a common wall. Okay, one side of the wall. And then itself it is very obvious that something is going to happen. Within couple of months of the relics being installed there, the Babri Masjid came down. So as I said, there are several ways of looking at it, but when the time comes of nemesis or something which has been false goes, then it's not by a social consciousness. That's our human way of looking at it. Who is hurt, who is not hurt, but that's not how the divine vision works. Then subsequently many things have happened and a lot of churning, fight and all. And finally, after 100 plus years of the case, I don't think any case in history would have ever stressed so long. The judgment has to come on 9/11, 9/11/19, on the same day when there is a opening to Guru Nanak's birthplace. Both connected with birthplaces. It's a birthplace. And leaving aside in the details, but what also struck me, my own feeling about it, something very beautiful. When Matri Mandir was being built, and mother said it's the soul of Auroville.
Yes.
The sooner you finish it, the better it is.
Yes.
My impression, this is my very personal, I am sharing, my soul feeling has been that Ram Mandir is the soul of India. Because whenever you talk of a noble Aryan character, you don't talk about Krishna. Krishna transcends. He is too far away. He is too free, too delightful, too charming, too sporting. He is too modern. He is ultra modern. He is future. But when you talk about the human, then you think of Ram. Krishna says also that among the noble Aryans, I am Rama. And he's termed as Maryada Purushottam. Now, Maryada Purushottam is a very interesting term. He is the highest among the Purusha, the divine himself. But look at it, he has limited himself. He keeps to the limits that are proper to an age, to in everywhere. He maintains those limits by himself. There is no external rule or code that he has to follow. He is the king. That time, those days, kings were kings, real kings. They could decide and be the law. But Rama self-limits everywhere. He chooses to go on exile. He chooses to, act according to the rules of the war. He chooses to send Sita on exile, self-inflicted punishments. Because he has to say that, you have to find your own Maryada. So Rama, though he is so mighty, and yet he is Maryada Purushottam. So he is regarded as the noblest among the Aryans. If you have to really think of an Aryan character who is the ultimate peak, Shrestha in the real sense, it is not Arjuna you will think of. It's not Krishna. As I said, Krishna is far beyond. But you'll think of Rama. And Sri Aurobindo has praised him very much that, he is many passages dedicated to Lord Rama. But the interesting part about it is that I remember a little incident of Sri Aurobindo, and then we'll probably come to the reading. Kapali Shastriji describes his first meeting with Sri Aurobindo. So, we all know that the time that Sri Aurobindo gave him to meet was the same time when he had to go for a talk. So, he changed the timing of the talk because obviously the Lord has called, you can't. And he comes carrying a lemon fruit for him because it's a gesture, you carry some fruit when you visit somebody's home. So he describes when Sri Aurobindo appeared on the threshold. He had given him the time and he was waiting. And he looks at him and he says, I felt that the ultimate epitome of the noble Aryan character, Lord Rama himself had come and he was standing there. That is how he describes his first impression. And he says in every gesture there was that beauty, that perfection. I mean, the way he came forward, the way he walked, we were just talking about it, the way he sat, the way he expressed gratitude when he offered the fruit. And he communicated, he asked, how are you? He says everything reminded him of the noblest of Aryan characters. And the person that he thought about was Lord Rama. That is how he described. Then of course he had a spontaneous awakening of Kundalini that we are all aware of, and many things followed after that. There is another very interesting about this land which is next to Babri Masjid, which is now the relic center of Sri Aurobindo. I was just mentioning about in Ayodhya. So how this land also came, there was a Rani of Amava. So she was the one who wanted to gift the land to Babaji Maharaj. Now Babaji Maharaj, those who may not be knowing, he is from Odisha and he has a cult following even now. And he was a very simple man. People who say, oh, Sri Aurobindo is very difficult, I wish they know a little bit about his life. I don't know whether he knew English when he came. I'm very doubtful. And he was a sadhu who was living in Ayodhya. And then only people had started treating him as a guru. But he had this aspiration that yes, people regard me as a guru and I am a guru of sorts. But I want the guru of gurus to be my guru, the ultimate. This was his aspiration. And that is how then he came to know of Mother and Sri Aurobindo. And when he came here, when he had the darshan of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother, he came from a traditional background. He was a Ram Bhakt and he had those sanskaras. You are caught up a little bit that it's fine, everything is wonderful and he is drawn, but who are they? And he had his inner vision open. He saw all the avatars and their consorts in Mother and Sri Aurobindo. All the avatars and their consorts. So he knew by his inner vision that they are of course the last, the 10th avatar, and he stayed on. Meanwhile, the Rani gave him a land. So he said, I can't take a land now because now I belong to. You see, this reminds me of what is true sannyas. There are sannyasis who have left everything, but they take land, money, everything, but they say, I am doing it for social purposes. But it's very interesting that he comes to Sri Aurobindo ashram and says, now I can't take anything because everything belongs to Mother. You see, this is true sannyas in the real sense. And so she said, what do I do? He says, if you are so keen, I'll ask the mother. If mother will accept it, you can give it. So this is one of the places which is given directly to the mother as a gift by the Rani. So this place in Ayodhya where the relics are there is a very, very special place. So all these events with the historical background, context, and but I think, and that's where we'll get into the canto, ki this is the first step. It's just like building the Matri Mandir is the first step. So now we have the soul of ancient India reinstalled in the temple of India. But more important is now to install that consciousness within man, because without that, if we don't install the spirit that has moved this ancient land of Aryavarth through Rama, Krishna, countless prophets, avatars, nowhere in the world history can you find such a rich galaxy, not just you count on fingers, galaxy of people. Each of them great in their own right. I mean, as a child, I have grown up reading those stories. If you read the story of one saint, you'll feel, oh my God, what a realization. Saint Gyaneshwar telling the, somebody coming on lion to meet him, a yogi. And he's, oh, I am so powerful. I can tame a lion. So Gyaneshwar doesn't have anything. He's sitting on a wall. So he tells the wall, why don't you move and take me to him? Moving a stone object. No, it's not about, we don't receive the story with the left analytical mind. We receive them from the psychic sense. So we don't discuss, oh, how can a wall walk? In India, we grow up with we are nurtured in the soul. So faith, surrender, spontaneous understanding of these things is there, inbuilt, programmed, because that's how we have grown up. And of course, we can explain with the intellect if we want to what it means. But the point is that look at the whole panorama of countless saints and sages and avatars. The question arises, but still there is evil. What have they been doing? What is still left undone? What is yet to be done? And that yet to be done, what is left undone is what Mother and Sri Aurobindo has come for as the penultimate of all these efforts. So all these efforts are great in their own right. And they have paved the way for where we stand today, with as Mother has said, with a grateful bow to the past. We move into the future, what is yet left undone, because we have to be focused on that, not just that, wonderful past, because consciousness moves forward, creation moves forward, evolution moves forward, God's manifestation moves forward, and that forward is what Sri Aurobindo brings.